Almost 20 minutes away from 9 o'clock here on the South African morning. Let's take you back down to the Western Cape regarding taxi violence. Earlier on, I spoke to the Cape Town MEC for Transport, the Western Cape MEC for Transport, Mr. Dalen Mitchell, telling us that there's ongoing negotiations. Let's bring in award-winning reporter Nobesuthu Hejana, who's been following this for us. Nobesuthu, good morning to you. I understand as well now that the Western Cape Premier himself is getting involved. What's the latest?
So we just heard this morning that Premier Alan Winde will be visiting the Golden Arrow depot. We know that on Monday their buses were attacked by the taxi violence, or they were caught up in the taxi violence, where Golden Arrow had to limit its services in certain areas, and those hotspots included areas like Nyanga, Khayelitsha, Side C, as well as Langa. So this morning Premier Winde will be visiting that depot just to assess how much damage has been caused during these taxi wars.
Now, you've been on the ground over the past few days, in fact the last few weeks, with this ongoing taxi violence. The fallback public transport was the buses. That now seems to be under threat as well. The issue here is going to be is how are commuters actually going to get to their places of work, isn't it?
Certainly. So in the past few weeks, we've seen a number of thousands of commuters who are desperately looking for ways to get to their work and coming from their work, where on Monday we saw that after the announcement by Golden Arrow, many commuters were left on the lurch and thousands of them were stuck at the Cape Town terminus where they couldn't get to their homes. Some, we understand, they did opted to walk, while others decided to, sleep at their places of work. But just to get on the issue of the taxi violence, we know that it dates back in 2018 over the Bellville to Mbekweni or PAL route, where originally it was, or the associations that were operating in that area were Kata Boland, the PAL Alliance, as well as Beta or Bellville Taxi Alliances. So what we understand is that Kata, or rather PAL Alliance, is an affiliate of Cadeta. So according to Cadeta, their problem was that their taxis were only dropping off commuters, and they saw that they were not making enough income or profit, so they wanted to get into that particular route. And some of the Kata taxi drivers then opted to jump ship and work with Cadeta, but the issue was that they were operating or using permits that belonged to Kata. However, Kata says when Cadeta wanted to operate in that particular area or route, they didn't want to coexist with Kata, so an arbitration was launched and there were taxi violence, or the war started basically on that. But in the past few weeks, we've seen that the provincial government as well as the two associations have met, but no resolutions have been met. In fact, last week Friday, a meeting was held between the two associations, Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula, the provincial government, as well as Santaco. But on Friday evening, after that meeting, we saw another taxi driver was shot dead in Fuleni. And on Saturday, they were supposed to sign a peace pledge, but that did not work out. And in that pledge, they were supposed to, or the conditions on that pledge was that they need to, or authorities would have to confiscate their firearms, but then they expressed that that would leave them vulnerable should they be attacked. And another condition was that if a person is shot, both associations will have to take responsibility. But as we stand, the meetings are still ongoing and they've not reached any sort of agreement.
Yeah, it's that agreement we're all waiting for. More than 80 people have lost their lives this year alone due to taxi violence. We wait then to hear from you again later in the day. Nobesuthu Hejana following that for us. Western Cape Premier Alan Winde set to meet Golden Arrow bus services. They're trying to find a solution to this ongoing transport and taxi violence down in the Western Cape.